You know, the false flag is coming, so they have to stop people like me from at the very least, you know, even the people that pop in for just a second, oh, conspiracy theorists, are seeds planted. And these pedophiles, you know, they are just the worst. Really, they're the worst. Uh, just the worst people you can imagine, and they do nothing but prove it. And you can see it in their, you know, their actions and their what they say. But there's a false flag coming. It's been talked about for quite some time. It's probably has to do with the aircraft carrier that got recommissioned for this bullshit. I don't know enough about it to really go into details, but you can look it up. But they're gonna pull the same fucking bullshit where they claim a bunch of Americans were killed. So we start tying yellow ribbons around trees and demanding retribution and all this other shit. You know, it's all right there for you to see it. And you almost don't even have an excuse anymore. And no one tries, really. The craziest thing is, you know, the only arguments I get are bullshit like bad guy land has the right to its holy land or some stupid shit. Like, they don't actually make reasonable arguments. And they just avoid and ignore all of the evidence that's readily available to, you know, to continue these crazy beliefs. Like, it's such a weird, it is such a weird situation. You know, even when you used to talk about the 9/11 stuff, there would be people who would try to make arguments. Stupid as they could be, there were people that tried to make arguments. Nowadays, they don't even try because they can't. Seriously, who can sit here and defend bad guy land? What could you possibly say? Even your whole, you know, they have a right to defend themselves argument, well, they keep starting the fight. How are you defending yourself with preemptive strikes? Show me the paintings from the 1700s and before, 1800s and before, that have the sky where it looks like it's waves, like you're standing on the bottom of the ocean looking up. Show me some paintings from that time. Just a little sidebar. You won't find any paintings that look like that. Just like you won't find any information to validate bad guy land, to validate the genocide taking place. Starving children, you know, they got a whole bunch of credit for bringing food in. They allowed food in, right? And as soon as they allowed the food in and we're like, all right, here we go, we're gonna let you go. Then they started sounding the warnings, the evacuation orders. And anybody that ignored that shit got killed. They start dropping bombs and firing machine guns and tank artillery at the area where the food was. And they just keep doing it. That's why they want to be in charge of the food distribution and the aid distribution so badly. Which just, again, somebody make an argument for why the people that cause the need for aid to be distributed in the first place get to be in charge of distributing the aid. The people who are known to secretly poison things and you know, like, I can't imagine That seriously, of all the things that exist in this time right now, the bombings, the horrible, horrible things that exist, forcing parents to choose, like, okay, my child is starving. I desperately need to feed my kid. But the people that are giving me the food are known to poison things. Like, I just can't, after everything that's gone on, and if they happen to have survived this long, they now have to risk dying by the food, the medicine. That's just insane to me. And of course, we have some disgusting piece of shit that's smiling at it. Like, the difference between me and you pieces of shit is, like, even the videos that show bad guy land being attacked, as much as I'm happy that somebody is finally fighting back and that Iran is capable of actually, breaching the dome and all that other bullshit, it's still hard to look at and think, those missiles might be killing people, killing children. Stupid, stupid little troll brainwashed children. Inbred troll brainwashed children. It's not a good thing. I've always said, like, as much as I can't stand the cult and think the cult should be eliminated, I want I want it to be eliminated by the people who go, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this disgusting cult anymore. I don't want them to have to die in order to eliminate the cult. But that seems like the only option. I don't know what else to do. I keep waiting for Iran to drop that big bomb that bad guy land has been talking about. Those big weapons. Kind of strange how there's been a few things that have gotten through, and apparently they've killed 24 people. Let me guess, all 24 were elderly. Some bullshit like that. I mean, where is the threat? Why isn't Iran just going all out, knowing that, like, diplomacy isn't going to work, knowing that like, subtlety and taking things slow, that's not going to work. They're going to get bombed. No matter what they do, the U.S. is going to be bombing Iran here soon. So why don't they just, fuck it, go out in the blaze of glory and take out as many piece of shit bad guys as they can? Netanyahu fled to Greece. As confident as he is and his Iron Dome and their ability to do whatever they want, he fled to Greece. Which seems like the most opportune time to get him, actually, because he's not going to be surrounded by, a country full of fucking idiot inbred robots, But it's like it doesn't quite make sense to me at this point. Why isn't Iran just going all out? They've been weeks away from the ability to make a nuclear bomb, an atomic bomb, forever. That's been the rhetoric that Netanyahu and company has used forever. So where is it? Why aren't they just fucking letting it go? I mean, you have to wonder, like, if Netanyahu was killed, what would, like, if the boss was killed, would the United States respond with, like, okay, we got rid of him? Bezalel Smotrich, Itamar Ben-Gvir, these guys are horrible, horrible human beings. Ben-Gvir especially. Ben-Gvir is just a nasty pedo, just a horrible, horrible, nothing good, fat, ugly, stupid, just every negative you can possibly say about someone, he's that. He's just off, well, except for poor, I guess. He's extremely well off, thanks to America. Thanks to the US of A. It's just shocking, man. It's shocking. I just can't imagine what is motivating people at this point. Like, you see it in the Trump supporters. You see the MAGA bullshit and the Trump supporters claiming he's done everything he said he was gonna do. Give me something. Tell me some good shit he's done. I'd love to hear some of the good things that this piece of shit has done. Especially the America First Trumpansies. Where, what are you hanging your hat on? I've been asking this since the last campaign. The last presidency. What are you guys hanging your hat on? What did he do that deserves your adoration? Other than he's a open racist, sexist, bigot, piece of shit. Other than those things, what is it that appeals to you so much? I mean, I realize it's because you're a racist, sexist, bigot yourself. But even then, it's like, what? Okay, so you'll claim that you're not, because none of you have the balls to actually claim that you are. And you don't have anything. You're not proud enough of anything he's done to actually say what it is. Really strange. Well, I think like all of you should go down with the ship. Everybody that supports this bullshit and this genocide and all these other things. When the shit hits the fan, you should be required to go down with the ship. The one thing I don't seem to see as much anymore are Trump signs. Driving around, people used to have their Trump signs in their yard. They don't seem to be anymore. And the reality is, like, when they claim that they found $100 million spent or whatever, that extra bullshit that they supposedly found that wasn't being spent and wasn't being accounted for, blah blah blah. And then the rumor that they were going to start handing out $5,000 checks started floating around. And immediately, right away, I was like, you're never going to see any of that money. They'll never give you any of that. You're not going to get $5,000 checks. And you didn't, and it went away. That's just how all of it, what happens. It all just goes away. Like, nobody talks about it, and then it just goes away. Why is nobody talking about Katie Johnson? Why is nobody talking about all of Trump's charges? I mean, it's not even like they're accusations. They're charges. He was charged with these things. He was found guilty. Why is it just gone? He's such an awful human being. And he's just so gross and weird. Like, I just don't understand it. Other than the underlying racism and homophobia and sexism and all that, what the fuck is it? What holds you to this piece of shit? Strange, man. It's so strange. It's so strange. And the thing is, my goal today was to be talking about the Nation of Islam. And I'm still planning on it. But, you know, I wasn't even like, I was going to have to work myself up to doing the Nation of Islam because I just wasn't feeling it today. And all it took was 5 minutes on my Instagram page to be like, nope, I gotta talk about it. Because it's just, I just can't wrap my head around what motivates people anymore. You know, all of the things that I've always said about this country and the people and all that, you know, the society has done nothing but prove itself. There's no, like, I can't be like, oh, well, you know, we did do this or we did do that. Like, there's nothing. It's just horrible. You know? It's so funny to me, too, how, like, even the opposition guys that are allowed to exist, like a Jake Shields, you know, every single person that seems to be allowed to reach, you know, a higher position than most of us, morning, Matt, is a bigot when it comes to orientation and sexual preference and shit like that. And it's so funny to me because it's like, so many of the people that are like all about First Amendment and freedom of speech and this is America and all this shit, they're the same people that, unless the person is a straight white Christian male, they seem to have a problem with it and don't think that those people should be allowed to exist in America. Like, it's such a weird thing. How can you be a champion of rights, but only when those rights are what you agree with? You know? It's strange. And the thing is, you know, gay, trans shit, that doesn't affect anybody. Somebody being gay or trans has nothing to do with you or your life at all. And all of you people that be like, it's all about the children. Just go look up your in whatever neighborhood you're in, the sex offender registration. And you know, you're only gonna see, you're mainly gonna see white Christians on that end. You'll see some black people, you'll see some other people of color, but the vast majority of the people guilty are not just white Christian males, but the majority of them are Trump supporters. Like, I'd love to ask Gordon Flowers what he thinks about that. I'd love to ask Gordon Flowers what he thinks about the genocide taking place right now, where children are being killed at an astronomical rate. Hundreds of thousands of children have been killed. They've been sticking with the 50 to 60,000 number for like a year. It's like embarrassing. Like, you know, you're showing us every day that genocide is taking place and just more acts of it are taking place. More and more bombs are being dropped. More and more ambush, you know, food distributions sites are taking place. And yet I'm supposed to believe that that number hasn't gone up? So many, I saw a video today where a guy was talking about so many more people are still buried under the rubble. But then there's all the people, like only the people that get taken to the hospital are the ones that are counted as the dead. And a lot of people, they know that their relative is dead. They don't need to take that person to the hospital to be told it's dead. To be told they're dead. Like, it's so they just make makeshift burial sites, and they bury them on the side of the road or wherever they can find an open patch of dirt. They bury their loved one. But it's hundreds of thousands of people that have been killed in this. And yet you're supposed to care about the hoax that supposedly killed 6 million, but that shit can't be verified even a little bit. Like, not even a little bit. It's literally a fake story that they had been seeding us with for decades prior to. There are newspapers from 10, 15, 20 years earlier talking about 6 million of us are going to be killed. 6 million, 6 million. There's a documentary, if you can find it, search the Google machine, called 6 Million Lies. And there's actually two. There's one that was made a long time ago that I can't seem to find anymore. And then there's this newer one where it's like a shortened version of it. But the guy still shows you the newspapers, multiple newspapers, saying the same fucking thing. And at the end of the day, 6 million is just nothing compared to what, at the same time, Stalin and the Bolshevik bad guys were doing in Russia. They killed 50 million Christians. 50 million. 25 to 50. We only know really what they say. But like, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And what's so frustrating to me is that someone like me, is never allowed to be, educated, if you will. Let me go on TV and say what I'm going to say, and you can bring as many of them as you want. As many pundits, as many experts as you want to debunk and destroy what I'm saying and make me look foolish, but I don't think it's going to happen. And, they know it can't happen, which is why it doesn't happen. They know that if someone like me gets put on TV, gets some sort of platform, they're going to look like total shit. It doesn't matter who it is. I can't even think of anybody. God, what I wouldn't give to be able to have it out with Trump. But that guy is like, it's crazy too to think like, wow, good thing I was looking. The bee would have hit me in the face. But you remember how, you're shown that the president used to be out and about with the people. You don't see that anymore. And they know that, like, when it comes to Trump, he'd be in danger. But you still have these people who talk about the deep state. The deep state tried to kill Trump. No, they didn't. I'm still waiting for all the cell phone footage and live video footage, live cell phone videos, live feeds, and videos that were taken by civilians during the Trump shooting. Where the fuck are all those videos? Nobody talks about that shit. There's a lack of videos because it isn't real. According to Trump, there were tens of thousands of people there. And it's 2024, right? 2024, multiple people have 2 cell phones. Where the fuck where's all the evidence? Why don't people need evidence anymore? Why don't people need evidence and then at the same time ignore and deny evidence? I think it's such a weird thing. You ignore the evidence that the genocide is happening and that your God isn't real and and that your president is a pedo and all that. You ignore all that. And then you don't require evidence to say the shit you do say. Like, he's done everything he said he was going to do, and, the deep state tried to kill him, and, like, you don't, like, what? It's just so strange. It feels like I'm in some weird-ass Twilight Zone. I never thought I would be this right. 10 plus years ago, when I first started talking about these things in our songs, www.the-bilderberg-group.com. Link will be in the description. It's all free. Like, it's actually surprising to me because I didn't realize that I'd been saying these things for as long as I've been saying them. I thought it was later on that I realized this shit, but you can find some of our earliest songs talking about this shit. Talking about the bad guys being the bad guys. And what they were gonna do. And as always, I don't understand, like, does anybody think that the people of bad guy land like you here in America? Like, if you're an American, do you really think they like you? They absolutely don't. They hate you. The only thing they like is that you keep the wheels turning. That your money keeps coming in and you keep doing the work that they want you to do. I mean, the whole 2,800 slaves per person, per bad guy. That's what they believe. They believe, like, this is the coming, the Messiah shall return soon. And when he does, all the Arabs will be killed, and those that aren't killed will be part of their slaves. And every single morning, every single one of them will have 2,800 slaves. It's there's plenty of evidence to show you that. That's what they believe. And I just can't help but wonder, like, what do you need to see before that matters to you? I guess, are the comments shut off again? Seems weird. Seems pretty weird. Might have to just gonna reset. We're just gonna reset one more time and see what happens, because this isn't working. Pedophiles kill yourself. Whoa, we just got another like. So, like, again, look at it. We have 5 watchers and 3 likes. What sense does that make? Do you know videos that operate like this? Do you know feeds that operate like this, where more than 50% like the video and yet it's still stuck? Now we have 4 and 6. Not sure. So at least we've got 1 comment that came through. We have 4 likes and 6 viewers. Shouldn't that trigger the algorithm to start pushing this out to more people? Isn't that how this works? Seriously. Somebody tell me what I'm getting wrong about anything. I would just love to hear what arguments people can make. I don't understand you. I don't understand the average person right now. Like, what are you thinking? Do you understand too that, like, now we have 4 watchers and 5 likes? Totally makes sense. Oh, we just lost one. Boom, 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 boom. Morning. Back to 5. Back up to 5. It's scary right now. I'm just shocked, man. I'm shocked by all of it. Anyway, let's retry again. Pedophiles, kill yourself.